festival in Hull 6 years ago. I was 18, I'd written one of the pieces. We're on a panel together at the end of the week, you and me. Spoke about how we marketed the show I'd done, and he said the idea that the next generation of theatre makers think there should be entertainment, a product to be sold, is evidence of the cultural death of the country. Theatre must speak in opposition to the dominant cultural or ideological forces of the time. It must be insurgent, at best a revolution. After the panel, you asked me if I wanted to go to the pub, and of course, you being who you are and me being 18 and totally fucking in awe with you, I said yes. And we sat in this incredible pub with dark wood and red wine, and you told me how writing has to be about truth, that it's purely fire, that these spaces are where we come to scream the things we can't find a way to say in real life. You said that, and I felt like from that day on I made it. Writing, my religion. You asked to see a bit of my writing in the pub. You read it and you said it was good, that I was the real deal. That you could tell with writers. They either had it or they didn't. And you said I might, just with enough work, be good. You said I could come and work in your theatre, that you'd find a way for me to get a bit of money so I could develop my voice, that I could write my first full-length play and you'd do everything you could to help me get heard. But I didn't take up that offer. Why? Because right after you offered me that job, you tried to kiss me. Mid-March, the King's Head. You ate duck and I ordered scotch to seem like a grown-up but never touched it. You asked if I'd go back to your hotel with you. You explained that you were married, but that wasn't a problem, as there was some sort of arrangement. As if your being married was in any way that devastating. Think about what you'd just done. I wanted to believe I was a good writer. I was 18, you were 20 odd. I wanted that job because I was talented, not because I was fuckable. You don't see it. You don't fucking see it at all, do you? The guys that sit in those meetings and get offered the job don't ever. Not for 1 second do they ever have to doubt why they're being given it. They just know it's because they're good. They don't wander around for the next decade wondering whether their entire career was based off of some married guy wanting to get laid. The women that call you a cunt behind your back are the same women that wear those short skirts into your meeting room. I can't be one of those women and make work that feels true to my bones. That is a systemic problem with women never feeling like they ever have anything interesting to say. They think, and God knows why, they're far more valuable for being pretty and fuckable. I could have written things in the past 6 years that might have changed the world. And I didn't. I didn't, because the one person that told me I might be a real artist also tried to fuck me.
Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry.
When I was doing this play in New York, there were cast replacements and vacations, and at one point, believe it or not, we actually ran out of Stanley Kurowskis. And so they sent for the actor who created the role, no less than Marlon Brando himself. He arrived after the half with no rehearsal. Even though he'd not done the show in over a year and a lot had changed. Different blocking, different rhythms, and completely different Blanche in the shape of me. Marlon and I, we looked at each other thinking, this is crazy. But then we heard the audience over the tannoy and we knew we couldn't let them down. So on we went, knocking it backwards and forwards, and we were pretty damn good. And then we got to the scene where Stanley has to rape me. You see, whenever I'd done the scene before, it was easy to feel afraid. the actor would be so undisciplined that he would beat me black and blue without even meaning to. But looking at Marlon, here I saw an actor in complete control. I knew there'd be no accidents, no fumbling, nothing clumsy, simple genius. And I thought to myself, where the hell am I going to find my fear? And then I remembered you. I remembered your fury. I remembered feeling quite certain that I was going to get killed. I put you, Paul Robeson, on stage as Stanley in the scene. It went right like never before. After we came off, after the call, Marlon turned to me and said, "Have you ever had such a good time on stage in all of your life?" And he was right. I hadn't. I'm not saying that what you did in Seattle was forgivable, because it was not forgivable, and it never will be. But you gave me something that I could use. And now, you really do have to go.
I went for a couple with my mates last week. I've been trying to make the most of the summer nights. And it's been pretty much every day for the last 2 months. So, yeah. Started off at the Roberts, which is sound, but it's a bit of an old man's pub. So, we went down to the Angel for a bit of atmosphere. There's always a decent DJ in there, playing some soul or some groovy disco. It was originally just going to be me and Jack, and then the rest of the lads met us before. Well into their sweaty techno event, and I can't stand techno. Neither can Jack, luckily, so I stayed at the Angel for a few more, and then I got my girlfriend to come and pick us up. And she's just got her first car, which means, well, I'm basically entitled to live all hours of the night. Anyway, so it's at home, I'm starting heading back to mine. We're having a lovely time. I've got the windows down, got music on, I'm cranking them little speakers to the max, and as we get towards Midway Bridge, there's a man, and he's in the middle of the road, and at first I thought it was some drunk fella trying to be funny with his mates, but as we passed him, he was like mimicking a phone to his ear. He said it didn't look right, so I got out at the end and I ran back up towards him. And as I get to him, someone's already pulled over. I said, mate, come in, can you use my phone? We literally stood in the middle of the road, so we climbed through this horrible bridge with cobwebs and rust, and we get onto the little path that just runs alongside. And as I look at him, I can tell he's drunk. His eyes are glazed. I'm thinking, he's lost his mates, or he just needs to borrow a phone. And eventually, he gets through to his girlfriend. He turns his back on me and he puts his hood up. And he wasn't shouting, but they were arguing. Couldn't really hear what was being said, and out of nowhere, these undercover police officers turn up, and then they run over to him, and they love it with the flashing lights, and then they started asking him if he's alright, but in like a patronising voice. And all these horrible thoughts that I've been denying, seeing a man on a bridge, they're becoming the reality right in front of my eyes. He passes me the phone, and he climbs up this big arch on the bridge, and then this fucking copper next to me, she starts shouting at him. She is shouting at him like he's a naughty kid, and this fella could be seconds away from ending his life. Like, what? I'm meant to be training shit like this, and I'm looking at him, and he's not listening to anyone. And it's like a drawing. It's light. His face is lit up by the street lamps, and the whole night sky is behind him. And I am pleading. I am begging him so desperately just to come down. Mate, please, just come down. I live just around the corner, you can come back with me. We don't even need to talk to anyone, just come back and talk to me. And he's not listening. He's totally in his own head. He's like mumbling under his breath. And then this lad who I haven't seen, he comes over and he stood next to me, and I'm thinking this lad's going to jump over our heads any second, and me and him could have done something about it. And then the guy next to me, he says, mate, I can take you to your girlfriend. And then bang, he's back and he's listening, and he says, will you? You swear, you promise you will? He said, yeah, of course, just please come down. And I see him tick it over in his head. And he's either going over our heads, or he's going to come down. And he edged himself back down the bridge. When he got to the bottom, he just started crying. He said he'd lost his mum, he'd lost his dad, and now he's lost his girlfriend. And I know it sounds selfish, but I didn't want to see someone, end it. And he gets in this lad's car and goes to his girlfriend's, and it proper fucked me up that night. Like, I couldn't sleep, and every time I go over the bridge, I'm thinking of him, even in the sunshine. And I wake up this morning, pull out my phone, and guess who fucking jumped off Lady Bay Bridge?
Monday morning, and I've only been to bed for 4 hours. The amount of time it takes to have an affair, it's actually pretty intense. I have a fumble in my bollocks before I spring out of bed. I think I might still be drunk because, well, I'm not hungover yet. Check Facebook on my phone, just because. Then a bit of BBC Sports, Guardian comments, and a little bit of Daily Mail online because, believe it or not, Love Island is actually quite good at the moment. I make a coffee, not just for me, but for Claire also. See, I can be an alright boyfriend sometimes. Can't I, darling? She takes one sip, spits it in the sink. Don't buy Kenko, you dildo. She's gone and already late for work, but me, I'm bang on time, baby. I always am. Get in the car, turn the radio up, loud. It's only a 10-minute walk, but I am fucked if I'm walking. Get out of the car, head to the kiosk outside the station. Get at the coffee counter, she always gives me a smile. Bless her. She's got absolutely no tits, but she's worth a good shirt for the extra squirt of espresso. See you tomorrow, darling. Nice touch that. Get my phone out again. Let's get Happen up. Let's see who I've crossed paths with this morning. Nope. Not a fitty among. I swear she's at the all-girls school. 21, I wish. Head teacher comes over, phone away quickly, and says he's impressed by my latest GCSE results. Says that I'm clearly an excellent addition to the faculty, so I give him my best. Oh, please, it's hardly all down to me. I love the way he takes my sycophancy seriously. Now this is the bit where I slow right down. You know, pretend I'm looking out for all the boys coming in. Tuck that shirt in, Oliver! Don't run like a girl, Stefan, you're embarrassing yourself! Etc, etc. It's kind of fun. I like to come in as late as possible and do that, because that way I don't have to come in and prep my classroom. Honestly, we've got TAs for that shit. I watched Mr. Murphy rock up in his brand new GT. Shame my only mate here is a bit thicker than I'd have liked, but he lends me a fag so I can hold off on an epoxy cigarette for a while. Jeez. I'm a bit sick. There's a sip of more black coffee. Now, I I am so fucking hungover. How come? It's a Monday, mate. Sly smile. He knows I've shagged Anna again. You better watch how I don't tell Claire one day. She'd never believe him. Daniel Wilson walks past with his hand up the back of one of the girls' school skirts. Cosy. Makes me think of Claire. You know, same flick back fringe that I didn't like at first. I thought she was trying far too hard to be trendy. And suddenly I miss Claire. Come on, dipshit. School bell, innit? I've got year shit in 11 first thing. I think I might just throw up on one of their fucking faces.
Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll sleep.
They laughed at me, Mum. Destroyed her. They took away her bowels to stop it spreading. The doctors did. They gave her a plastic bag. She hated it. The bag to urinate in. She hated it. She said it was like having a bath wearing a life belt. She used to sing in a pub by the flats. She wanted a garden. Never had one in the flats. Never lived on the ground, my mum didn't. Put her in a garden, sit there drinking a Dubonnet and lemonade. And she used to sing in the pub at night sometimes, and like take it in turns and get up and sing. Even when she was very ill. And this one Saturday night, she had this lovely voice, beautiful. When she sang the Good Night Irene, all the women cried. She was a legend. Her voice. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. And this Saturday night, that this dwarf comically told tall stories and jokes. Made Mum laugh. He said that there used to be a lot of women in there, so he'd tell jokes about the women. And they liked him. They had to like him. And when he went off stage, he never took off the microphone. And it was still there, standing about 3.5 feet from the ground. And they asked for a song, and my uncle Howard, he said, "Give us a song, Elsie." And they all said, "Elsie, give us a song." And my mum went, "Oh, no, I can't. And they all started chanting, "Elsie, give us a song." So the piano player called Charles, he started playing the beginning to Good Night Irene because it was like her signature tune, and eventually she got up. She was overcome with all the warmth, and the pub was nice with warmth and friendship. She stood up, and the drummer gave her a hand microphone, but the dwarf's microphone was still standing right in front of me more. And she went, "I'm overcome to know that you all cared for me because of the collection by the pub sent flowers after my unfortunate operation." She was moved. because the dwarf's microphone was still switched on and it was standing about waist height to my mother. Sound of gushing water. The microphone had picked up the sound of my mother passing water into a plastic bag. Through the loudspeakers. And everyone could hear it. And the sound went on and some people just... They laughed. That night at home, she got out of bed, went to the bathroom and drank a pint of bleach, which killed her. It was quiet at home after that. I went 2 nights a week to the cadets and then I signed up. I don't talk about it much. When I had the medical, I didn't tell them about my mother. I thought it was best to say natural causes.
Jim! Oh my God, Jim! Where have you been? Why aren't you picking up? I have called you 17 times and you haven't replied to a single one of my 26 texts. No, you've had absolutely brilliant signal and you've been stood here for over a quarter of an hour. Well, I've been monitoring your movements all morning. Have you never heard of an app called Find Your Friends? Well, it's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I installed it on your phone this morning because I need to keep a track of your whereabouts at all times. Jim, I'm worried about you. I didn't know if you'd committed suicide or something, you know, with your depressive state. Look, anyway, I am now linked to you forever in the strongest possible bond, and I'm going to need instant and constant responses from you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because I'm with child. Jim, I'm pregnant. 4 tests. 4 tests. 4 little windows say you're pregnant, and... Is it mine? I can't believe you just... Is it mine? Yeah, well, I'm fucking shocked. Is it mine? You seriously just asked me that again? Of course it's yours, you fat fucking prick. Well, probably, I can't be 100% sure. Look, men are just drawn to me, Jimmy. Moths and flames. Moths and flames. Actually, do you know how lucky you are that I am the future mother of your child? I'm 19. And I'm fucking fit. I've got a pierced clitoris. And I'm double jointed. You could bend me into a pretzel and I could still take it up the yin yang. What is not to love? No, you're an ex-con who works in a fish factory. You're 32. You're practically dead. But it's amazing though, isn't it? Just to think, I've got a little piece of you growing inside of me. And it could be like, you know, one of you crusty little sea monsters, but instead of it being dead in a jar, this one is going to slither out alive. And oh God, I hope it's a girl, Joe. I've always wanted a little girl. I'm going to play with her and feed her jam tarts and put on those pretty little dresses. And what do you think to the name of Jasmina or Rapunzel? Do you know what? I'm never ever going to cut her hair. It's going to trail down of her like a golden waterfall. And can you just imagine it? Don't be sad, Jim. Why are you always so sad when everything is just so amazing?
So I found out my mum was dead on Twitter, which wasn't, you know, great. It was about 10:30 on a Friday morning. I was printing some stuff off for a client workshop at 11, and the printer was just being a fucking, you know, yeah. Then out of absolutely nowhere was just this massive bang. It wasn't even like a sound. It was this pure violence, and I must have been knocked down by the blast because I realised I was on the floor. So I picked myself up, and I was deaf, like my ears were underwater. I looked up, and all the windows of the office were broken. And I was like, shit. People were bleeding from the broken glass and covered in dust and running around, acting strange and shaken, and shocked kind of isn't the word. They were wired, you know, and this one woman was screaming. Me and this other woman were trying to calm her down, and everybody just wanted to get the fuck out of the building, you know, like run for the hills. But the facilities guys were all like, stay where you are, it's not safe to leave the building. You know, part of me was like, fuck that. You know, who listens to the facilities guys? Just because you wear a yellow day-glow fucking tabard doesn't make you king of the world, you pompous megalomaniac fuckstick cunts. And then part of me thought that they were probably right, actually. So I brushed the bits of broken glass off my desk, sat there, covered in dust and broken glass, and trying to do the breathing exercises from my yoga, which wasn't helping in the slightest. So I did what millions of other people were probably doing at that exact moment, and I Googled Explosion London, and within about 2 seconds came up this photo of a woman. She was lying face down in the street in a pool of, she was in a really bad way. The whole bottom half was gone. Sorry. It was about 5 minutes after it happened. She was outside the Space NK Apothecary on New Kings Road. And all the hairs on the backs of my arms are standing up because I'm like, you fucking can't be. Hit my heart, I knew it was. And the one thing I'd always, my first thought, it wasn't grief or discussed. Which I'm so unbelievably ashamed about. Thinking that. About my mum.
And nothing pleases me more than you. Oh, then we come
Berlin, a winter coat, travel bag, red nose, and a broken heart. Standing on the platform at the train station, the train is late and my socks are wet. I'm not quite sure how I got here or where I'm supposed to go next. I met him 4 nights ago, and he was the most beautiful boy I have ever seen. His name was Emmanuel, of course, and came from Madrid. I had been travelling on my own for 3 months with a great European adventure, London, Dublin, Paris, Prague, and then Berlin. My mum and dad said, don't go by yourself, you know, maybe go with some girlfriends or on a little tour. I'll be fine, I said. I'll meet people. But meeting people is a little bit harder than you think. I mean, I did meet people at like hostels and stuff, but mainly other English people. But we had fun for a night or two. You see, the thing is, the boys only really wanted to have sex, which is alright, but if I wanted to have sex with English boys, then I probably would have just stayed in England. So I go to the churches and the galleries, the museums. I walk down these little cobbled streets and I sit in cafes trying to look all mysterious. And everything is so perfect. Everything is exactly what I expected it to be. And yet somehow I need it to be more. I keep asking myself, when will it start? Just life. When will my life start? And then there he is at club in Meet, and he's dancing with his shirt off, and I'm thinking, this guy can really dance. I mean, I'm thinking, this guy is like, and then he looks at me, and I am gone. I mean, I pretend not to be. I'm not really that interested, but I am so interested. And we dance all night, and as I come out into the light, I realise that this is it. This is life. I'm living. And when he kisses me, I want to cry because I have never been kissed like that. Not at home. Not ever. And he touches me in places I've never been touched. I mean, this guy seems to know things, and for once it just doesn't matter that I don't. 3 days we spent in bed, and by the end of 3 days, I knew some things too. And on the 3rd night, I watch him sleep, and I do that thing that you're not really supposed to do. I I think about the future. I think about taking him home to my mum and my dad and my brothers and my sister, and how much they will all love him like they love me. And then he wakes up and he looks at me like he knows what I'm thinking and like he wants to run. So I kiss him before he can, and he smiles and I'm gone all over again. But that night, as I fall asleep with my head on his chest, listening to the beat of his heart, thinking, I could listen to this for the rest of my life, I realised that this is what falling in love feels like. And in the morning he's gone, along with 400 euros from my wallet, my iPad, my passport, my favourite fucking scarf, and a really large piece of my heart. I walked through the streets of Berlin. I feel small. I feel like I'm 12 years old again. I feel quite ridiculous, actually. And I want my mum and my dad, I want my brothers and my sister, and I want to hear them laugh and fight and tease me, but I can't really think about that too much, because if I do, my chest might actually explode. I literally feel like I'm gonna fall to pieces. My arms and my legs and so to stop myself from coming apart, I make a list of everything that I know to be true, and the really frightening thing is, it's a very short list. I don't know much at all, but what I do know is that at 25 Wingery Avenue, things are exactly the same as how I left them, and they always will be. And I know that I need to go home.
I'm not really sure what I can add to the whole. It's just, I'm not really down with emoting, you know, like this. It feels a little dickish. So basically, I was in my dad's kitchen making a sandwich when all of a sudden this guy, still in his airline chair, comes crashing into the garden. Whee! Bop! Like a cartoon, like a really fucking dark Tim Burton cartoon or something. And for the first few seconds, he was alive, and then he wasn't. And I'm a twat. Because, and I will feel guilty for this for the whole of my life. But it's just, the first thing that I thought of was that song, It's Raining Men. Sorry. And I was just staring at this guy like this, when all of a sudden he caught my eye for a moment. And then he just died. The light went out. Quietly and softly. The thing is, he looks so kind. That's been that house for a week. Then when we got back, they tidied up the whole garden, jet washed everything. Fucked up the whole garden, actually. There was still this like gash in the grass, and behind the wall there was a weird black stain, like corpse juice or something. Charming. And for 6 months, me and my dad, we ignored the stain on the wall with this sort of studied indifference. I love him for that. Neither of us made no mention of it at all. Stick up a lip, all that shit. Neither of us went into the garden, actually. And then one day I came home and the wall had been painted white. And there was this trellis with roses or something growing up it, and the gash, it had a chimney over it. And I actually missed the white stain. The white stain. I actually missed the black stain on the wall. Weirdly. And then, when I went to the inquest to give my little spiel, it's actually awesome that I've done mine already because it normally takes like 4 years or something. Cherry, the man who fell to earth. His name was actually Sonny Mare. Sonny Mare. Oh, it's an awesome name, isn't it? And he was 47 and a doctor from High Barnet. I didn't say anything at the inquest about him being alive. His family were there, and I just, Anyway, I absolutely smashed the inquest. Lost it. Kept that between me and Sonny. Our little secret.
It's my view. I come up here when I'm miserable or when I'm pissed off, and I look out to the flats in Lenton. That's them lights over there. Or the ones in Hyson Green. That's them. Or the Vicky flats, right in the middle. You can see Green's windmill in the football grounds too, when it's daytime. Me and Grace, we sit there at the top of Collet Woods, and she says to me, every time I look out, I always feel like everything's gonna be all right. I know somewhere out there, someone's being funny or rude or brilliant. And all I've got to do is keep my eyes peeled for them. I mean, I suppose that's all the city is. Ours is uniquely beautiful, obviously, but It's just people, essentially, isn't it? And you have to remember that. Because sometimes when all the shit's piling up, you forget it and you start to feel like you're alone and it's just you, except you're not. You're not. You're part of this city, these people, and you just have to be brave and jump in. Roll up your sleeves and make sure you collide with 1 or 2 bullets. And we stay there till the sun comes up. Over islands, over the Trent, up and over the flats. A bright, cold day, and a sun that makes you wince. And then I go home, and we haven't said a single word to each other. Except the next time I'm looking out over the city, what she has said is still fresh in my mind. I'm on top of Wilford Hill, and we've just cremated Grandad. I've dashed here after a late fitness test, and before we climb onto the bus to Burnham Park and the evening fixture against Bolton Wanderers, the manager, he's been brilliant, all the lads have. But I've said I want to play, because if I've learned anything in the last few weeks, I've learned that I've just said as much to Grandad. Not in a spur of a moment, not as a knee-jerk, but because I believe it. I'm a footballer, Grandad, and I have made the right choice. Football. It's not a matter of life and death. It's nowhere near as important as that, and every true fan knows it. But it does come from the same place of joy and trust and expectation and pride, of family and of love, of all that really matters. It's your mum with a mouthful of turkey laughing and jabbing your dad on Christmas Day, and your brother rowing with your sister over a record he's borrowed and scratched, and your grandma telling your granddad to put your teeth back in. And your aunt saying goodbye to your uncle as they lay him in the ground. It's your girlfriend saying she'll marry you, or your boyfriend saying he won't. It's your kids on a swing, the grandkids at Goose Fair. It's the pub and the park and Jessops and Boots. It's the shower curtain you never fixed properly and the patio half laid. It is the very fabric of being alive. It's ordinary and it's profound.
Wow.
Very, very good.
So you settle down and have a rest at last. And I'll get on with the rest of my life. Because like my friend Amazing Grace says, it's just people in the end. And I'm surprised by some pretty good ones.